Hello, everyone, and welcome. We are here today with a very special interview. We have two guests. I'm Julia Johnson with Learning Ally, and I want to introduce Aiden Colvin, who I am sure you are familiar with because he wrote a very, very popular book in our community called Looking for Heroes, One Boy, 1 Year, 100 Letters. And in addition to Aiden, we also have Brian Matheny, who is the volunteer who recorded Aiden's book so that everyone can ear read that book across Learning Ally. So guys, welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Thank you so much for having me.
And I just want to tell everyone kind of where we are right now. I'm actually in Tennessee. Aiden is in North Carolina. And Brian, you are in Texas. So we are just kind of spread out all across the country.
It's really awesome.
It is. Well, we're just going to jump right in, and I'm going to let you guys kind of chat a little bit. But before we dig into it, Aiden, do you want to tell us a little bit about your book and just how it came to be? There may be people who are not familiar with it watching this right now.
Oh, sure. So, Looking for Heroes is a book that I originally wrote when I was feeling really down about having dyslexia and transferring schools. And me and my mom were having a conversation, and I was talking about how there's all these negative and disadvantages to dyslexia, and then she said, then how do so many famous dyslexics become famous and successful? And so we decided to write them, and I originally sent out 100 letters to 100 famous dyslexics asking for advice, and I compiled those letters into a book.
That is such an amazing story, and it's incredibly touching, which is, Brian, you actually were very, I think, touched and moved when you were reading the book because you have a personal connection.
I do for sure. My brother actually grew up with dyslexia, and he was going through a lot of the challenges that Aiden was going through. And so, reading his book, I made this really strong connection, kind of seeing things, again, but 20 years later from when my brother was going through school and seeing, some of the challenges in working with different schools and giving up your summers to go and, practice reading and diving into projects that may seem overwhelming. And so it was really interesting to see the parallels between my brother and Aiden. Aiden, as you were going through and finding one of the things I loved in your book were Aiden's tips, and they just really rung out as things that my brother had worked through. And so being able to follow your journey really brought back so many memories. Even the sports connection that you have with rowing, and my brother had his. When he adopted baseball, finding that one thing, as you said, and making that your passion and just running with it, it was a great way to kind of go back to those memories and see those things through your eyes.
Thank you.
That's pretty exciting. And Aiden, I know you're a Learning Ally member as well. So how does it feel to you to know that your book, something you wrote, is now available on Learning Ally?
It's incredible because Learning Ally really almost taught me to read. I was constantly listening to their audiobooks from 3rd grade all the way up to 11th, and every night listening to the Harry Potter series while reading along, and pretty much every book I've ever laid my hands on has been on Learning Ally, and it's just really great that I can share my book with other dyslexics, like other dyslexics have shared.
That's pretty awesome. So tell us some of the folks who did write back to you, like maybe just like 2 or 3 highlights.
So a couple of the folks that wrote back to me, it was really interesting. Harvey Hubble, actually. I got to Skype him because he didn't want to write, and he's a filmmaker. He did, I think, My Dyslexia. It's a wonderful movie. You should definitely watch it. And he was just talking about really finding what you're passionate about and just digging into it. And school's not forever, which is really nice for a lot of us. And after all the standardized testings and in 12th grade, then we're able to go pursue the things that we really excel at as dyslexics. Out-of-the-box thinking, grit, and just creatively.
Brian, tell us a little bit about what it's like for you to volunteer. Not only volunteer, you're meeting the author of a book you read as well, which is pretty cool. But yeah,
It's really cool. So it's really cool getting to meet the author of the book that I just read and had such a great connection to. And really for me, it's an awesome experience. I've been volunteering as a reader with Learning Ally for almost 4 years at this point. And going into the studio or setting things up at home and diving into a book, the one thing that makes me really passionate is knowing that you have readers like Aiden on the other side. that are reading the book along with you. And so, as a reader, I enjoy reading. I love it. It's a passion of mine. But even to connect to kind of that next level and know that the passion that I'm putting through in the words I speak are connecting to someone's ears, it just takes reading to a whole other level. And I always think of the students on the other side and hope that they're connecting in the same way that I am to the wonderful books that we read, and it's helping them as they use the application. It's really such a wonderful tool.
It is pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. Well, we want to encourage everybody to check out your book, Aiden, Looking for Heroes, One Boy, 1 Year, 100 Letters. It is available on Learning Ally. You can also buy a hard copy as well, and we do have that right now. Also, if anyone out there is watching this and interested in volunteering like Brian does, we do have studios across the nation. We also have virtual volunteering where you can do it from anywhere you live. So just go to learningally.org and you can find out all of that information. So thank you guys for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.